So what do I mean by the indie trap, right? And I'm sure some people could relate to this, but for me personally, indie games have both like simultaneously enhanced gaming for me, but also almost ruined it. And not in like a way of I don't want to play games anymore, but they've completely taken away really any want to play any AAA titles anymore, and that is a more common like sentiment among a lot of gamers now. But my issue and what I mean by trap of these indie games is there's so many being pushed out all the time, right? Across all these different platforms. Itch, you have Steam, you Discords. I mean, there's like subreddits, Alpha Beta Gamers website. They're just being dumped every day, and that is a good thing. That isn't a bad thing. But where I kind of find myself personally, it's almost like they've become like the TikTok of gaming for me, or like the Instagram Reels, or whatever that thing for you that you just sit there and scroll all day, and you're going from short form video to short form video, just scrolling, right? That's what these games have become for me. And no, I've had buttload of fun on these games. Stonewards, Barony, Scale the Depths, Lootbound, For the King 2, shoot, freaking Fishing Planet, right? I just love these smaller games. They have way more passion, even if they're the most simple game in the world. You could usually tell that the person enjoyed making the game and they wanted to make the game. But I feel like a crack addict. I just can't get enough. But the issue is it's not that I can't get enough of one game. Like, oh, I just can't get enough of Stonewards. I can't get enough of Lootbound. I can't get enough of indie games. And I can't be satisfied with one or two or three or 15 or 100. I'm constantly jumping from indie game to indie game, almost like I'm looking for that next high. Like I'm trying to scratch an itch that I'm not sure how to get rid of. And the thing is, I don't even want to get rid of it. Like, I love these games. I find insane enjoyment in them, but I end up game hopping. And then I have like 50 indie games in my inventory, like that I just haven't played yet. But before I even open them, almost like a shopaholic, I'm looking for new ones already because I just want more. I just want more. It's almost like just the fact of having them is kind of the itch I'm trying to scratch. But it's not a major issue in terms of like I there's so many I don't even want to play anymore, but I do kind of find myself staring at my Steam or at my itch or whatever other various ways of owning games you can have now. And I just can't pick one. And then next thing I know, I've been sitting there for 2 hours and I haven't played a single game because I can't decide. It's just too much. I have too many games. And it becomes a point like I want to play all of them so much that I don't want to play any of them. Like I said, this isn't like a definitive issue. It's just a personal thing for me that I just thought it'd be kind of fun to talk about. Let's use like a Stonewards, for example. Now, I'm usually not a big fan of like the infinite wave, like just tower defense style, but it's a very fun game. I like the mining. I like the art. I like the way the game comes across. All right. It's just cozy. It's simple. The graphics aren't crazy. They're not trying to be hyper realistic, and they're not trying to be the next biggest thing. Like people be like, oh my gosh, this is the visual upgrade that gaming needs, or this is like the mechanical upgrade gaming needs, because it's not like necessarily the most unique. And I don't mean that in an insulting way. I think Stonewards is a fantastic game. I like Scale the Depths. I have multiple games like Scale the Depths. I have Scale the Depths. I have Fishing Inc. I have what is it? Cast and Chill. I can't remember the name of the game, but I have multiple 2D pixelated fishing games because they're just so relaxing. There's not like I don't need to think about it, right? Like I used to only play Call of Duty for hours on end. I would eat when I'd get off work. I would play Call of Duty. I joined the army. When I was in the army, every time we got let go for the day, I would just go home and play Call of Duty. That's all I would do. And then I had like my first taste of these indie games. And what I mean by first taste isn't the first time I've ever played one, but the first indie game that I like really sat down. And by indie, I mean more of a specific genre of indie, right? I mean like the pixelated, like either the old dungeon crawler or like Lootbound, for example, right? Turn-based backpack like RPG games, which I can't even say RPG. That doesn't really fit, I guess. But that's things I can't even explain it. Most of the time when I talk to friends and family and we'll talk about games and the topic will get brought up, like what game I'm looking for, because we'll sit there on Steam and just talk through Discord. And I'm always so frustrated because I can't find what I want. And I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing because it keeps me looking for something new, for something fun, for something exciting that I can usually get for less than $10, right? But Barony. I don't even play Barony that much anymore. But I was on a major kick with Barony, and it really kicked off that like old pixelated, like it felt like an old game from the like I'd play as a kid, right? Like something I'd play on my like old PlayStation or the original Xbox or something, or like my aunt's computer that struggled to run RuneScape, the original RuneScape. And it's like it like sunk its claws into me. This genre of gaming, it grabbed a hold of me, and it is not wanting to let go. And I don't really want it to let go. I'm just not sure where it's taking me, that's why like I love beautiful looking games. And by beautiful, I mean like a traditional sense, right? Like the Last of Us, The Last of Us 2. I think Call of Duty looks really nice graphic wise. I mean, there's Cyberpunk. I mean, so many things. Shoot, GTA 5. I still think graphically holds up pretty well. But to me, they just can't hold a candle to these like small passion projects. Don't get me wrong, Barony's not the greatest looking game, but Stonewards is such an attractive visual. Cast and Chill, Lootbound, these games are just like so attractive to me in a way that I can't even explain. But it almost makes me feel more so like I'm trapped, because I don't even want to look at these other games. Like if you go to Itch, right, and you just look up new and popular. I mean even not new and popular. If you just go through their games, I mean that's almost like an endless amount of just like daily being dumped out. Steam, when you go to their indie games, it's so many that not only can I feel like I can't really keep up with it. I get overwhelmed just looking at it because I don't make a lot of money, and I know $10 is only $10, but I'm not really in a position where I can just keep throwing $10, $15, even $6. Like even then, that's like something I got to kind of think about sometimes, So I really have to like take my time and decide, do I want to buy these two games for $5, but I think this game looks nicer, but it's $10. Oh, this game looks great, but it's $25. It's $16. But there's so much product. I'm not sure where I want to put my money. And this is an unscripted thing. I'm just kind of like freestyling here. And it's not a jab at like the indie genre of anything. I just, as a consumer, not as a developer, it just seems a little overwhelming, and it's kind of getting oversaturated with all these indie games, right? Like let's be real, like the roguelite and roguelike. I love that genre, or Souls-like, right? But now there's just so many. You could go on some sort of website, whatever launcher you use, or whether it be console, whatever, and look for a roguelike game or a Souls-like game, and there's a million of them. And, they're all like not copies, but they're all extremely similar. And if you've never played the game before, you don't know someone that's played these games, they just look like the same game to you, maybe a little different graphically, right? But they, and none of them are bad games per se. They could all equally be fun games. But I just find myself staring at like this wall with a million different like games, like roguelike the top left, and then you have Souls-like in the top right, and then you have incremental, and then you have like tower defense, and you have like team building, and like just so much stuff. Or a game I haven't mentioned, Magicraft. I love Magicraft. But in the same sense of like, even though I loved that game so much, and I played it a lot, I played Magicraft a lot. One day I just kind of hit me. I was like, you know what? I just want to try something else. But I am going to come back to this game. That's what I told myself. I'm going to come back to this game. Let me just set it to the side for now. I haven't even opened it once in months. Not because I don't enjoy the game. And any of these games that I just don't play anymore, it's not that I don't enjoy them. I've just gotten so sidetracked on trying to find the next best thing for me, the next big thing for my personal playstyle and my personal enjoyment, that I lose track of every other game I enjoyed. And that's like another big thing for me is I spend all this money. I end up spending more money on these indie games than I do any AAA title. Though, yeah, they're significantly cheaper individually. I mean, after I'm done buying a total of like 30 of them, after 2 months, I spent significantly more money than I would have ever spent on any given AAA title, which they're not fun to me. That's why I've gone to indie. It's why a lot of people statistically have been switching to indie games, and they've been doing really, really well. And they deserve to do well because they're really fun games, and people put a lot of effort into these games. But I get so caught up in what's being put out now, and it's not even like I'll just go to Steam. I'll just click on new release games or new and popular, and it's like a moth to a flame. Like my pupils get dilated and I just go brain dead, and I just scroll and scroll and scroll. And next thing you know, I haven't opened Scaled the Depths other than today. I haven't played that game in I think over 2 months, or not 2 months, over a month. It's been a month. Stonewards. I think I've only opened it like 2-3 times, and I've had it for a week now. Fishing Inc., another fishing indie game I got off of Steam. I haven't touched that game since the first week that I got it, and that's been a couple months. And it seems like with indie games, and this is again, this whole thing is about me personally and anybody that can kind of relate to what I'm saying. It almost feels like I'm gathering, like I'm hoarding all these games, all these indie games that I think are just the bee's knees at the time, right? And then I get so distracted by constantly bringing in new, I'm neglecting all the ones I already had. And then they just die. And then they get buried under the sheer amount of the next big indie game, the next big thing, the next thing I'm trying to chase. And it just seems like my passion and love for indie games has really just created a graveyard in my Steam, or for my itch, or for whatever else. It's more of like I'm buying a bunch of games that I'm just gonna let die for me. But at the end of the day, it genuinely feels like I'm trapped, just constantly staring at a wave of indie games. But it kind of feels like, gamer-wise, as a gamer, like I'm kind of drowning. And it's to a point to where it's kind of making me not want to play games anymore. And it's not an issue with the developer or the launchers or any of that. I just don't know how much longer I can keep up. Since my love for AAA titles is already dead, I don't enjoy any of these new big games. I'm falling back on indie games, and I'm kind of getting to a point to where I'm getting too overwhelmed to play any of them because there's just too many. And I'll finish this off by saying I do love these games, and I love indie games, and I love indie game developers. The level of passion they have for this stuff is impressive. And I'm not hating on any of them, and anybody that sees this, I don't want you to think I'm hating on the genre of indie games, for any genre of indie games, I guess. I just feel a little overwhelmed.